Hello, all you coin collectors out there, and welcome to the DC Coin World International Coin Channel. Today we're going to answer the question of what happened to the Great Britain one penny coins from 1941, 1942, and 1943. Now, as many of you know, and this is what the one penny coin looks like from Great Britain, there's George VI, DG, by the grace of God, BR Omn Rex, or King of all Britons, or sometimes people say King of all Britannia, but essentially King of all Britons. FD, Defender of the Faith, Ind Imp, Imperator of India, and of course, if we look down here underneath his neck, we see an HP for Thomas Humphrey Paget, who was the engraver of this coin. So if we look at this coin, let's I just got a stack of them here that I just want to go through, and we'll kind of try to figure out what's going on. Okay, this is a 1944, so we know they made them in 44. Here's a 1940, and I said they didn't make them in 41, 42, and 43. So here's the bookends then. This is the 140, and there's 44. Here's another 44. Let's separate these out. 37, and that's a kind of a nice looking coin. There's another 37. It's a lot more worn than the previous one. These are bronze coins, by the way. And what's interesting is that Great Britain didn't make any of these one penny coins in 41, 42, and 43. I mean, they made none. Zilch, zero. There weren't none. What they did was just not make them. They didn't make any proofs. You're not going to find a 1941, 1942, or 1943 penny from Great Britain, not the one penny coin. So again, here we got George, and this is a 38, so let's get that out of the way. This is a 49, so we know they made them after the war, of course. Another 37, another 37, another, oh, there's a 47. Okay, so we've got, let me see, a 44, a 44, and a 40 here. And we got one more, there's one more 40 here. So we got two 40s and a 44. And we know that, of course, on the front of the 40s is George VI. And we know that on the front of the 44s is George VI. And so we take them and we separate them out a little bit, and we say, okay, we got the 40s, we got the 44s, where's the 41s, 42s, and 43s? And the answer is debated over, which is weird. You'd think that somebody would just know and say. But if you look in the literature, you see that some people think that the reason that there weren't any 41, 42s, and 43s was there wasn't enough bronze. And some people think that that because there wasn't enough bronze, they just stopped making the one penny coins because they're big coins. They weigh almost 9.5 grams, 9.45 grams. The problem with that is that at the same time they weren't making these one penny coins, they were making halfpenny coins in Great Britain, which are bronze. They were making 1 farthing coins in Great Britain, or quarter pennies, which are bronze. They were making 3 pence, 6 pence, and 2 shillings or 1 florin coins out of silver. So they were making all the other coins in Great Britain, including a bunch of bronze coins of the 1 penny, the halfpenny, and 1 farthing variety. So again, why would they just stop making this one coin? Well, the answer is under here, and this is a little bit of a trick, so just follow me on this one. If we go to the bottom of this pile, you'll see that, oops, these are the 1940s. I've added another coin, and look at that, the same coin. Let's flip it over. So this is the 1944, and we just saw this from Australia. Isn't that weird? 1944 Australia penny. It was the kangaroo, the very famous big coin. If we look at this one, so here's the one from Great Britain, 1940, and says George VI, DG, Brie, Omni Rex, FD, Ind Imp, exact same coin. So this engraving here, let's even look down to the Thomas Humphrey Paget, We also have the HP on here. Same engraver, same coin, same front on both the Australian penny and the Great Britain penny from, and this is a 44 and this is a 40, but the same, this is a Britain 44, so it's same exact. So here's what some people think, and that is they were sending so much bronze to Australia and some of the other colonies that they were using the mints to produce this particular engraving, and so they didn't make any in Britain because they were making it for the colonies. Well, that's an interesting theory, but they weren't making the Australian pennies in Great Britain, which is very weird. So they're using the same exact engraving, right? This engraving and this engraving, exactly the same, but they changed the one on the back. And guess where they minted them? They minted them in Perth, Melbourne, and Bombay, India. So this particular coin, this 1944, was minted either in Melbourne or in Perth. And you can tell if there's a dot after the penny, we know where it was minted. And so if there's a dot after the penny, it's the Perth mint for 1944. If there's no dot, it's the Melbourne mint, and so that's what this one is from, the Melbourne mint. And this is probably worth like $2 US or something. So here's what I believe, and what many people, other commenters believe or commentators believe, and that is that they shipped all of the coin dies over and used them in Australia. But they used them in Melbourne, Perth, and Bombay to make the coins for Australia rather than keeping the dies in Great Britain. Or maybe they made extra dies, who knows? But whatever they didn't make any 1 penny coins in Great Britain in 1941, 1942, and 1943, and they did make them in Australia. So if we look at the Australian 1 penny varieties, we see that they made them at Perth, Bombay, and Melbourne from 1941 to 1943. Different mints in different years. Sometimes they made it at more than 1 mint in the same year. All right, so that's all we have today from the DC Coin World International Coin Channel. Good luck coin collecting out there, and we'd love to have you leave any comments you might have in the comments section. And if you have some better information than we have about why the British did it the way they did it, we'd love to have you put that in the comments section too. Even if it's to say, hey, you knucklehead, haven't you seen this book or this article or this whatever? It has a great explanation, because we just haven't seen one that has a good explanation of why the British didn't make coins the 1 penny variety for 3 years during World War II. All right, have a great day from DC Coin World International Coin Channel.